Always.
Does that work?
I'm going to introduce them real quick. And then I'll get a cake.
On the live stage. End of the world, all right. Hello, PopCon. Welcome back to the live podcast stage 2025 PopCon Indianapolis. We now have for you the LARP podcast. They're going to be doing a live episode for us. So without further ado, please enjoy some D&D fun.
Woo!
In a world of magic, a time of ancient lore, where heroes rise and legends are born. There's a place of wonder where the quests are never done. It's a realm of mystery, and battles are won.
Well, good afternoon. We are the LARP Channel's D&D podcast, Tales of the Adventurers Guild. We've been doing this for 3 years now.
That sounds right.
Yeah, 3 years. We'll say 3.
It's a 5th edition D&D, the 2024 rules, not
2014. They're playing.
Can you tell them a little nervous?
Yeah, you're fine.
We got started with it started as just like a monthly subscription thing that I wanted to do. And I'm getting these boxes in, I'm like, I want to turn this into something. I got a hold of these guys. Yeah, is that better? Yes, it does. I got these guys together and I said, well, you guys want to do a podcast? And they're like, sure. So we could put together different themes, different ideas. I'm going to let these guys all introduce themselves. My name is Kent. Obviously, I'm the game master, the dungeon master, whatever you want to call it. I'm basically the narrator, the storyteller, and the guy who answers the questions that these guys have.
My name is Priscilla. I've been playing D&D for about a decade now. I play anything from first edition to current 5th edition, minus 4th. I pretend that that doesn't exist. I'm currently playing an Eric Kokra, who is a power-hungry warlock. It's been a lot of fun.
My name is Dugan. I've been playing for about the same amount of time, about a decade. Started with 3.5 with Kent, and I'm currently playing a Wild Magic Barbarian, Wild Magic Wizard cross Goliath named Gron.
I'm Audrey. I spaced out on what I was supposed to say. Like 5 years-ish, maybe. That's my dad.
Who's getting on it?
Now I don't want to. I don't think I will anymore. I play Agnes, who is a sadistic little vampire child. We love her.
Agnes is a lot of fun.
Very much like Agnes. She's a
Her and Larkspur are going to get in a lot of trouble.
So the overall synopsis of the game is the first half of the adventure was getting to know each other, character development, and familiarizing themselves as a group with strengths, weaknesses, etc. And they would take on various jobs in a world that we call the Green World. They, halfway through it, they discover that there's a greater evil, and that greater evil came from a different podcast that was published. They realize that this thing is going to become the death of the material plane if they don't do something about it. And so they're given these specialty weapons and what starts off as just a take on jobs turns into a rescue mission, and they find out that the people that they need to hunt down is actually responsible for the adventures of getting kidnapped. The second half of the game,
It's not that big of a deal.
You know, it's just level 10 characters saving the world. It's fine.
I was talking about the kidnapping of the adventures. Not a big
Oh,
deal.
you know, also not a big deal. It's just kidnapping. It wasn't murder.
Sorry.
The second half, yeah.
the second half of the campaign has a few mild connections with the first half. There's key individuals involved, but they have gone to discover a new continent that has eventually shifted into the material plane. And so they agreed to help a college out in discovering everything there is to learn about this group, which, interestingly enough, started off with another rescue mission.
With little to no previous experience or qualifications for this type of work, we have taken it on. Because plot reasons.
Yeah, very true. So we did one really big question, especially about this particular podcast. And this is probably the best opportunity to try to answer this. What's been the highlight, like the big moment that you as a player within the campaign so far?
So do you mean like that happened to characters or just in general for...
Something that's memorable to you, either as a player or something like memorable to one of your characters.
Something?
I was kind of asking clarification, but I think first of all, like the ability to be like on a podcast is pretty cool. None of my friends are on podcasts.
It's not as cool.
They're not. They are. But I think something that's really stuck out as a character is honestly just like the dynamics between everyone. I feel like everyone kind of like matches really well personality-wise. Like I don't see any of our characters not getting a really interesting roleplay out of being with one another. Like a memorable moment in roleplay would probably be when uphill almost killed us.
Yeah, almost getting TBK'd by a hill was kind of a weird experience. I think one of the probably scene in my head, the way it was playing out visually, was when we were trying to find a spellcaster in his own castle that was full of weird traps and stuff like that. And we finally get to the end, and the chaos of that battle was wild because Enoch, who couldn't join us today, who was an 85-year-old paladin, is flying around the room on a broom, hurling javelins and casting spells, while Strawberry, also a player who had to leave, she moved to California, who's playing a Myconid bard. She's on the ground, running around, doing bardic inspiration stuff. We have Larkspur, who didn't quite look the same as she does now, casting Eldritch Blast and trying to avoid being in combat whatsoever. And then we have my previous character, Tarks, the half-orc barbarian, who is trying to attack the Intellect Devourer control spellcaster. And I got a crit, and I cracked his skull open, and the Intellect Devourer jumped into my head, and all of a sudden the party has to fight me. So there's just this swirl of mad, like, minions and flying old paladins and singing mushrooms and little Eldritch Blast casters trying to fight the barbarian without killing him outright. It was just perfectly chaotic.
My favorite moment isn't necessarily a moment, it's just a series of moments, and how many times Larkspur lied to Tarks' face. Like, bold, sometimes unbelievable lies, and Tarks could just never roll a high enough insight check to combat my charisma check. I mean, it was just ridiculous, the amount of things that Tarks fell for, that Larkspur was just like, yeah, this is true. Like, I am a powerful god. You should worship me. And he's like, oh, wow. Man, you totally are, Larkspur.
I can't remember what lie it was, but I remember one time in particular, you rolled like the lowest you could roll, like with your modifier.
It was a
like
terrible roll. I
like a
assumed
5.
you would succeed.
And like there was no way, but I'm at a -2 to my wisdom throws, and I rolled like a 3. I ended up with a 1, and I'm like, yeah, no, Tarks believes you, and it was the most ludicrous thing, and
It was great. No, that's the only reason I'm sad Tarks is gone. Like, the end of his story and his exit from the campaign made perfect sense. I don't think we should retcon it at all. But I am a little sad that Larkspur no longer has this like,
super gullible.
yeah, one
murder
of the,
puppy.
like, because I had absolute plans to turn Tarks into one of my followers and, like, make myself a demigod or a patron. And it just didn't happen. But that's been a lot of fun because it's turned into a lot of roleplay moments where
For sure.
Kent's like, all right, well, you're going to tell the lie. What's it sound like? What do you say? How do you do this? Do you guys remember when Strawberry died and Larkspur was like, I need to take a moment?
Oh yeah, Tarks was.
I wrote a whole speech for her funeral that was specifically designed to convince Tarks that I was powerful.
Was that Strawberry or was that Cherry?
Oh, I don't remember. Larkspur didn't care.
And Strawberry didn't.
Oh, it was Cherry. It was Cherry.
And Tarks was feeling super guilty because he tried to force feed the potion that ended up killing her.
Yeah.
Cherry was my first character in the campaign.
That's right.
She was murdered trying to. I think she was murdered by one of like the bone minotaur exploding,
Yeah.
which knocked her down to 0, and then she failed all her death saves, and the paladin.
Well, she failed a death save.
A death save. I failed a singular one, and then the paladin gave the barbarian a potion and said, "Here, save her."
The barbarian with a +0 to medicine checks.
So anyways, she died, which is fine. I didn't actually really have a story for her, so
It worked out.
It still will never make sense to me why the paladin sent the barbarian to try to save somebody.
We could have literally just laid on hands and stabilized.
Half of the things that we've done haven't made sense, and yet they have worked out in our favor.
True.
He was 86. I mean, he's going senile. He's had senior moments, so.
He's still around.
he lived in the 70s, guys.
He lived in the 70s.
Real quick, if I could interrupt, we're live on Facebook, and so we got 6 attendees that are watching. They do say it's a little hard to hear us, and probably because of the ambiance of the room. We're in an open air, so you guys could lean into your mic a little bit. But I did want to point out Janine, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. She goes, "I love your content. It fits what our group does." So at least there's other people out there playing D&D as chaotic as we are.
That's one thing that I've appreciated about the podcast, because you hear, I mean, Spotify, wherever you're getting your podcast, they're rife with real play podcasts, and it's like professional voice actors and writers, and they're scripting things out, actors, and they're scripting things out, and they're creating scenes, and like some of the stuff is not actual play. This is very real play. We have table talk, we have laughter, we have to take potty breaks, like, it's real play. And I kind of appreciate the authenticity of it, because we have a lot of fun, we do some weird voices and stuff, and it's more true to what a lot of people's play experience is. And I like that about us.
Did we get from Cody what his favorite moments are?
I don't think he sent the recording. I don't remember seeing like an audio.
He didn't do his homework.
So I'm going to share one that involved Cody and I. After great success on a conquest mission type thing, we had this keg of unending ale, and we locked ourselves in the brew closet of the inn, and well, we literally flooded it with ale as we tried to consume as much of it as humanly possible. And we made a fair amount of those con saves until both of us absolutely failed and had to have the Goliath bouncer from the inn carry us upstairs into our rooms, and we had massive hangovers after. It was a good time. It was a good time.
That was ridiculous. And then Larkspur proceeded to use that mug of ale to convince Parks to do her bidding for like the rest of the sessions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he was very much into that.
So one of my favorite moments, I think, is an entire chapter. It was called Chasm of the Strange. It was by over 2 years. Is this okay?
Yeah, that's much better.
But it took you guys out of the concept of medieval fantasy and put you into like a futuristic science fiction type of setting.
Larkspur hated that.
Tarts liked it a lot.
There was temporary mutations that you guys had to deal with. There was aliens. There was mutated NPCs. And the jokes just kept rolling and rolling. And I'm going to be the first one to say this because you guys won't let me forget it. There's a moment when you get so immersed into a game you forget where you're at and what's happening. And you say stuff that you didn't need to say.
It was a slip, right? You were going to say one thing and then you wanted to switch to another thing and it came out a new thing altogether.
You were the first one to make me remember it.
Yep. And I even wanted to turn it into
So what was it?
You guys were getting into the final fight to take out this spaceship and these aliens and everything. And what I wanted to say was, we're under attack, take evasive actions. What I've heard in movies and TV shows and what was rolling in my head was, we're under attack, take evasive maneuvers. And so what it turned into was, we're under attack, take evasive actions. Get them! Evasive Manactions was born.
Yeah, the other great thing from that chapter was when Strawberry, our small-sized myconid mushroom bard, got hold of what was essentially a laser gun and started opening fire, and in her most adorable, sweet little Liz voice, did the whole Die Hard quote with "Yippee-ki-yay, mother in person." Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, and it was just absolutely glorious to imagine this tiny little red-capped mushroom girl, like, blasting things and swearing at them. It was like,
So the second big question is, given how far we've gone, and the characters, especially for the two of you, because your characters are new, what is the hope by the time you get to the level your character has accomplished?
For Agnes, she wants to be good enough at everything and be an artificer that she can create hundreds of homunculus to do her bidding. She wishes nothing more than to be the child sovereign of a nation. With a bunch of...
that's amazing.
Larkspur and her are going to get along great.
Right? I like that our previous two characters both had similar goals. Tarts to become the chieftain of his village, which worshipped Io, and then you were Cobalt with Illusions of Grandeur, named being who wanted to become more dragon-like. We actually figured out ways to do that, so we kind of wrote them out of the campaign because they were pursuing those goals. And it was a really good conclusion. Our new characters have not at all overlapping. So Ron being wild magic barbarian and wizard, it's all about control. And what he wants to do more than anything is learn how to control the elements of chaos.
Wild magic wizard, can you sorcerer?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
They use magic.
This is my first spellcaster, bro. Right? I'm all Marshall.
So Larkspur's had a journey because I feel like there for a while she was making progress on her goal of basically gaining more power. I think at the core of who she is, she wants to be powerful enough so that she's in full control and like nothing can touch her, nothing can hurt her, nothing can harm her. Nobody else gets to call the shot. Like she wants to be fully in control of herself and know that no one else is a threat. Right? And up to this point, she hasn't been able to do that. So she's had to use Tarks and Enoch and all of these others as tools in her, in her box to get what she wants. And there for a while, we had the big bad evil guy, quote unquote, her boyfriend. They were not in a relationship. I just want to put that out there. They were.
It's complicated.
Right? And so that was a nice path towards power. But then, of course, we had to get rid of him because he became less than useful. And so now she's kind of going through this reevaluation of how do I keep moving towards that goal. So honestly, I don't know. Like, I feel like right now I don't have a defined goal for her. It's more like looking for my next opportunity, and when it happens, she's going to pounce on it. possibly at the expense of the traveling companions, but we shall see.
I'm kind of wondering what Clayton's overall goal is for Enoch. Given that he's like this awful good paladin who occasionally does drop goofy jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, the dad jokes are the best.
Great. I love you.
But I mean, we're also talking about somebody whose character basically left his church and then returned to the church. So it's like, okay, when you come back to the church, what's next?
I mean, it continues to be the moral compass for the group, countering Larkspur and the dumber impulses of Tarks and the wily impulses of Devine. So Enoch's kind of been like the guiding moral compass and making sure that we don't just, murder our quest givers.
Larkspur would have had a lot more success manipulating Tarks if Enoch had stopped getting in the way.
Well, I mean, like, one of the things I think Cody had mentioned was possibly trying to become like an avatar to his deity.
Yeah, he mentioned something like that.
I mean, if that does happen, I'm not saying it will, I'm not saying it won't, but that would actually be really, really cool to visualize.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, the avatar of a deity appearing to a cleric in a temple, being like, "Hey, I just woke up from a nap." And the cleric's like, hello, sovereign. Yeah.
He made that. He says that like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now go and do my great commission. Love you.
Hey, Anne Marie online, she says, I love your content. I miss LARPing. I was in our local White Wolf group in Terre Haute.
It's been a long time since I've heard about, like, I'm not even sure I know what it is. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, thanks for
Some
watching.
serious work. Yeah, thank you.
I like to consider tabletop role-playing games as live-action role-play. We are live, there is action, and we are role-playing.
And we have damaged some things in the room from time to time.
Whirlwind attack doesn't work so good when you're sitting at a table. It turns out. That's for open combat.
Especially when the shelf is right here in your head.
Yeah, alright, so spatial awareness / passive perception checks, a little low on a martial character who took enough stats and wisdom. It's fine. I'm just playing the character, Ken.
Okay. So I don't have any sound effects for this. But what was your favorite character moment in the overall story? Like the funniest thing you can think of that just gets you every single time.
So mine's not actually with Larkspur, it's with Tallulah, the character from our off campaign games. Yeah, no, I'm going to be laughing about that one for a while when you put us in the spaceship and Tallulah, she's a barbarian with an intelligence score of 10, so she's not stupid, but she's also, you put her in a place where she doesn't belong, she gets very confused. So here's this barbarian who, theoretically from a small tribe, put her on a spaceship, and we started talking to the guy in the camera, right? The guy who's from he's in the part of the ship, and he keeps talking to us as we go through the rooms, and he's like, all right, come find me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take you with me. And then she just reaches up and grips the camera out of the wall, assuming that this man talking to us lives in this little device. And she's like, you can come with us. And then, what did I do that 4 times? I think, before the DM didn't let me do it again.
That was pretty great. And funny stuff, there's been a lot of it. It's got to be Enoch's Sending Stone moment. The first time we got a Sending Stone from the other campaign that Kent had been running, which was much higher level, and we didn't really know what to say or anything, so he grabs it, he's talking into it, and
real off the cuff,
like not scripted, not planned, had no idea this was going to happen, and he's just rattling off everything, and then he gets to the end, and like your forgetful grandparent who like ends every phone call the same way, even if it's not somebody they're related to. It just goes, "I love you," and we like had to stop recording for a minute because we all lost it completely. Like that was such a good Enoch moment.
And that was just a running joke. Like every once in a while, he just comes up and
I am blanking on specifics because I seem to remember a few times I've actually been there. It's been very hard to get that long shot. but I think overall, just as a standard, it's like 10,000 way tie between every time Enoch has spoken.
I've got one that was a Tarks moment that I absolutely loved when we ran into the wood elf that was making contraptions. He had pulley systems and things like that. He was doing all sorts of mechanical stuff, way beyond the understanding of a half-orc with 8 intelligence. And he asked him, like, what kind of school of magic is that? And Kent's response was, it's ingenuity. School of ingenuity, huh? And it became like a sub-point for Tarks. Like, he wanted to find the wizarding school of ingenuity and figure out how it worked, because it did amazing things.
Yeah.
And he became obsessed with it. So every time he found substantially advanced technology that he did not understand, it was all instantly School of Ingenuity magic.
And it was perfect fodder for Larkspur, because I leaned right into that in character, and I'm like, oh, it's the School of Ingenuity, Tarks. Like, look at how awesome I am. This is why you should venerate me. And, like, we were so close to Tarks just believing Larkspur was this all-powerful demigod.
I mean, I had a -1 to Arcana check, so there was no way I was ever going to get anything, except one time I rolled a natural 20 on an Arcana check, and I was like, oh yeah, this is that.
That was all of 2 seconds of thought. And I figured as soon as I answered it, we were just going to move on. No, you guys are bringing it up again and again.
You know we're going to latch on to, like, the most insignificant thing that you do as a DM, and then we're going to reuse that for the next 3 years. That's how it works.
There was some fun stuff with Tarks and Devine too. As Devine started trying to convince Tarks that she was actually like Dragonborn, and Tarks 100% believed it, defended her to other people, and they were like, "That's not a Dragonborn."
I think it was even more funny when you convinced yourself you were a Dragonborn. It was like, you're a board.
Yeah, 100%. Because I worshipped Io and I had an ancestor visit me, and I got a little memento, and I'm like, I can do breath weapons. I'm totally a Dragonborn. We're Dragonborns together.
And Devine honestly did believe that he was a Dragonborn now, because she's a devotional piece of garbage, and I miss her.
Yeah, it was a really fun dynamic. I really enjoyed that opportunity to like role play with my daughter in such a wild way that was unplanned at all, but it worked out super well.
So I actually have a question for you. Tarks. Right after we finished Chasm of the Strange, he got his hands on the Mankind Battle Gun, the giant slug monster. Whatever happened to that?
I think I gave it to Strawberry actually.
That was her.
Tarks used it one time, and it was like, I prefer bashing things in with my hands. So I'm pretty sure I gave it to Strawberry, and I think she took it with her when she went back to the realm of the fairy. Which was like a super heartwarming scene.
So to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's to come next.
Spoilers.
For you guys, and for all of you guys.
Spoilers or no spoilers?
So in the first chapter of this new world, this completely drawn blank from just a minute.
The thing that crossed into this, the island that crossed into this realm.
That's right. The one that's dimensionally shifting into this world. You guys went on a rescue mission to save the scholars. This tower had crash landed elsewhere. So, to give you guys a little bit more of a synopsis, the college they're helping is called the College of Ether. And it's very well known to be hidden because it's actually a floating college with various floating islands that are roped and chained together. And they float like the clouds, so it's very hard to find them, it's hard to track them. They've had little bits of help from here and there from the adventurers. And they decided they wanted to be the first ones at this new world island of magic. When they tried to get there, a gravitational storm kicks in and they crash it. And you guys all agreed to go and try to help save one of the main scholars.
It was probably our single biggest mistake of the campaign.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to come when it comes to confusing crap that you're not ready for. So
Awesome. That's fantastic.
But I will say this, in saving him, you guys will be helping yourselves out a lot, in particular with the shifting issues that happen on the island, as well as finding a little bit of one rest.
Yeah. How many sessions have we played now without a long rest? It's been at least 3.
I was about to say, I think we're on 3 or 4 sessions without a long rest.
Dude.
Yeah, I have ability features that like need at least a short rest. We can't even get that. Man, come on now.
We've gotten short rest. We've never gotten a long rest.
We've gotten like a short rest, bro.
A half-hour nap. Anyways.
About to get some levels of exhaustion, right?
The other big thing I'm going to tell you is you guys have actually heard about one of the big bad guys in Discipline.
Right.
I know at least one of you is going to be either really happy to see this person or really, really happy to see this person.
Wait, one of us is a player or one of us is a character?
Yes.
Oh.
Thanks, DM. That's not going to keep me up at night.
One of my favorite parts about playing D&D is when you get so confused with your character that you actually make out-of-game mistakes.
Oh, gee, thanks.
The last big question before we go into our Q&A is, what's the kind of character that you always want to play and haven't had the chance to?
Ideal in what way? Like, ideal as in, like, best character as far as optimization, or just, like, a character that we haven't gotten to never gotten to?
He's going to make me your best on this, but in general.
You didn't say anything afterwards. You can't do it.
All right. Well, actually, I think we were talking about this in the drive up. I'd love to play a character. I have to find the right group and the right DM to put up with it. But I want to play a character who's a full caster and has all of the casting components. Like no spellcasting focus, no component pouch. Like whatever the components listed in the spell, the sending spell, I need a copper wire, and I'm going to need a lot of them to cast the spell again. So I want to play a character who has to just accumulate all of this stuff, because I personally think it's hilarious to walk into a general store and be like, excuse me, do you have the talents of a spellship, and can you have the heart of a newt? I need 5. One of them needs to be fresh, the other 3 can be powdered. So I want to play a character who just has to spend all of his role-play time asking for all of these random pieces of items, and then I have to carry the wisdom. So like in combat, then I'll be like, oh, hold on, I gotta get the like 6 things out of my pocket that I need for this. How would I get this spell? But again, I gotta find the right group, because I feel like a DM is gonna kick me under the table if I do that all the time.
You have to use your bonus action every time you want to cast a spell just to find your component pouch.
To find my component. But then like I have extra components just in case something comes up, right? So like.
How does your wizard have 15 strength? I have to have the carrying capacity.
I mean, have you seen some of the components? They're heavy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
A statue that's worth 5,000 gold pieces. That's a statue.
I think that would be fun, because I was in a game once where the monster that we were fighting was able to like materialize our things away. Like I think they turned into sand, and then we lost those items. And I was like, how detrimental would that be if I was playing a character that had to have my spell components on me, and then suddenly lost half of them? Now I've got a real challenge out of it. So, anyways, I think that'd be fun.
Now you have a lot of sand, though, and that's a spell component for certain spells. So
That is true.
just learn one of it.
It's gonna make sure I know that spell.
Yeah. Everyone's like, this and that.
What about you, Roger?
I remember the question.
What would like a character concept that you've always wanted to play be that you haven't been able to yet?
Well, there's a lot. I make a lot of characters, and I usually get to play them because I don't actually whenever we do one-shots or something like that, I just kind of always switch them out, and I have other campaigns I play in. So I don't really have like a perfect one. It would depend on the campaign and the setting. I really like to play vampires though, so like probably just one of those, honestly.
What's your backup character for Agnes? You have one?
Right now, probably I have a tiefling life doctor character. I'd probably play as her.
Alright, so I would like to play a bard, and I would like it to be lizard folk. And the reason is, lizard folk often don't understand the social cues and normalcies of the people around them. And so my bardic inspirations are going to be the most unhinged, off-the-wall, out-of-pocket behavior stuff humanly imaginable. And any DM with their salt will question whether or not that would actually inspire the party. But I think it opens itself up to some insane roleplay. And my die rolls are going to be really good to make the thing happen in dialogue. And then the DM's going to be like, what does that even sound like? Make this work. And I want to do that. I want to do that very much. And then I get to eat the villains when I kill them. Because nothing goes to waste. Yeah, so like the most charismatic front of the party face being arguably the least hospitable, friendly, socially acceptable race.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun.
So I know I don't play as many characters as I do run the game. But I have had a character on my mind. This kind of comes from the Unearthed Arcana concept of sorcery. The Unearthed Arcana version of sorcery sort of translates to the second hand. So the only way to make it work is to multi-class paladin sorcery. You have the means to combine and use your spells to enhance them. So when you combine something with thunder smite with booming blade, that's a wicked nasty attack. I haven't gotten to do it. I've play tested putting ideas together. So far, I have a character who is very cantrip. I hate cantrips to be. So we are going to open it up for the last 10-15 minutes Q&A, both in the audience and online if there's any questions. If not, we have
I've been keeping an eye online. We've got a few people who have popped in and out, so we just want to say a quick thanks to anybody watching online. It's great to see people pop in. And, you know, if you've got suggestions for content, throw it out. We're always talking about
so for anybody who's in the audience, we do have stickers. The basic simple work channel stickers. Is that what that means?
Is that what we're just for free, really?
You're really going to start into this right now?
I mean,
we're going to start this?
I think we might be the only people handing anything out for free this entire convention.
This is actually the biggest convention we've ever had. I don't even know how many people are here. This is by far gigantic.
More than 10. There are more than 10 people here.
What? More than
Yeah, at least more than 10.
never experienced more than one.
What is your favorite line?
my favorite line as Larkspur. Oh, well, it was Tark's Deary, but I can't use that anymore. A, because Tarks is no longer around, and also Larkspur doesn't sound like that anymore.
Right. I mean, because like we alluded to it, but I didn't want to take your thunder by saying anything. Like your Aarakocra wasn't always an Aarakocra.
No, that's probably been honestly one of the most pivotal changes I've had with a character at all. While I've been playing D&D, not just in this campaign, is having to go from like being reincarnated from a fairy into an Aarakocra, and then I had a lot of fun throwing the voice change on you guys by surprise.
I love that you did that systematically over like 5 sessions before it fully set in. That was really good.
You know you did a good job when you played at DM. I honestly thought you were like there was a problem with you.
I think you stopped the podcast and were like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing my new voice." But I mean,
Role-playing in a role-playing game.
to go from talking like this, darling, to talking like a bird, like it was a huge shift in character, and like I have a hard time keeping Larkspur's personality in check because the Aarakocra voice just seems too nice, and I have to remember I'm playing an evil character, be an evil bird.
Well, evil doesn't mean mean.
That's true.
It mean mean.
And I would venture to say Larkspur is not mean
No.
per se. She's very polite and cordial.
if Larkspur was to be able to like communicate telepathically with someone, would it still sound like her normal voice because the internal monologue would be the same?
Well, see, now that opens up a rules argument because depending on what you look at in terms of telepathic communication, it's the meaning that's communicated, not necessarily the sound. Right? And like in the sending spell, it is you. I think the sending spell specifically says you get the words, but there's no sound, there's no inflection, there's no tone. It's just the meaning.
My hottest anime take for the guy walking by with the sign is that Goku is arguably the worst father in all of anime.
He saw them walking around with the anime daddies and got real.
Oh yeah, the other sign with the anime dads. Yeah, no, Goku should not be A tier or B tier. That dude is absolute F tier father.
Wow, tell us how you really feel.
Oh, okay. Do we have time?
We have about 10 minutes.
What's your favorite line in all of the podcast?
Favorite line in all of the podcast. It was definitely Strawberry saying "Yippee-ki-yay." Mr. Five. Yeah, what was
That's
that?
what they used on the TV version of Die Hard 2 with Mr. Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my absolute favorite line, without question. It was epic. It was totally like in the moment. Liz was really feeling it, and she had been so reserved,
Oh yeah.
so sweet and kind the
That's
whole
what made me
campaign.
better. That was off the cuff for Liz. Like she didn't think that through, and like personally, like when you talk to her, she's a pretty. I wouldn't say she's shy, but I don't know. Like playing characters, she was fairly conserved, and so to have her just burst out with this line, oh.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. Huge fan.
I think for Agnes, it was when she went on a rant about becoming a mermaid with the people in the rope. One of my friends actually drew that. We were like nerding out over that.
All mermaids for a session.
Everyone but Ron, who said that he has wanted to do magic like that.
Yeah, because I didn't have control over it. I did not become a mermaid. I just made the con saves.
I want to go back to like one of the first questions. I just remembered your animated skeleton that we kept alive way longer than it was.
Yeah.
With the Marlin skirt on it, so it's half skeleton, half
Like we didn't take it off when we got back onto land, so he was just flopping there until the spell ended and he died again. He was tortured his entire existence.
Yeah, his existence was pain. It was bad.
Oh, he's not dead. He didn't notice.
Jeez.
So the favorite line that I have, I can't actually say right now because it involves certain particular four-letter words, but it's actually an accumulation of you playing cards. Cody, when he was playing Enoch, and you when you were playing Larkspur as the fairy instead of the Marigold, it was during Dread Harvest.
Okay.
So the first line was your reaction to the scythe.
I don't remember what that was. I know the scythe could dismember people, and that was pretty dope.
I'll tell you guys afterwards. Cody's line was when Strawberry drew a picture of the flesh abomination.
Oh yeah, and he goes, "Holy shit!" It was so loud in an old man voice. It was wonderful.
And then the final one was yours, which is probably the easiest one to translate. It was probably after about 4 hours of these Frankenstein monstrosities, and you're finally just like, I'm tired of this crap. Go back where you came from.
Oh, yeah. All right.
You put those 3 lines together in the right way. It sounds like you guys are arguing in the stupidest manner possible.
That also tracks for our characters, though. There were so many roleplay moments.
I think something that always made me laugh was the whole concept that Tarks thought he was done with this whole blooding quest where he had to kill certain numbers of all the enemies. And in our heads for the longest time, because one of the first kills he got, he was strangling a guy, a Black Rift guard, and all of a sudden his head exploded, and Tarks thought he did it. But Larkspur had hit a crit with that Eldritch Blast. And Tarks was like, all right, another notch in the axe handle. And
Tarks never figured that out, did he?
no, never know. No, he
We got to
100% thought that he killed that.
We got to the end of your story, and then the NPC was like, "No, Tarks, you're missing one." And
shy
he was
one.
beating himself up over it, and Larkspur's over here like, "I don't know what happened."
Wasn't it like it ended up being with his download because he killed some of his own characters on the second?
That was two different story setups. The first one was attacking goblins, and he didn't know the goblins had joined the tribe.
Yeah, how was I just supposed to know? I was gone. Come on now.
And then the second one was he thought he got the kill, but it was actually Larkspur. They kept hinting at, well, what's going to happen when
We're down to about 5 minutes.
I don't see anything from anybody.
I don't have any questions at the moment.
So
Where can people find us, Ken?
Great question.
it's a very good question. Somebody who's professional at this would have led into that. So if you ever want to find us, the easiest way to find us is on Facebook. Just search the LARP channel, find us on Facebook. That's our main platform. All of the episodes are posted there. All of the contact that follows with that is posted there. We do have a platform page on TikTok. And technically we've got something on YouTube. I don't really use it that much, but it is there. The podcast itself, I know, is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you Google search it, I think you can find it on a few other platforms that are not mentioned specifically.
So you happen to get your podcast, we're probably there.
Spotify is by far the easiest because you can organize the episodes. So if you only want to listen to a specific published series, Spotify is a way to go because it's got a playlist. It doesn't just have the episodes.
Oh, she dropped it off.
Anybody got any last remarks?
Roll initiative.
Hey, okay, hold on now. We've had some partners and special guests as well. We had the Bearded Bard come on for an episode and play this huge, like, space Tarrasque type thing that was haunting.
Braxit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite moments right there. He used Evil Mind on your character, and then your character went completely dumb. And so he's describing something else, and he goes, for those of you who still know how to speak a language, this is what I said.
That was really fun. We've had some collaborations with Mythic Meats. Mythical Meats, yeah.
Critical crafting.
Critical crafting, so yeah.
And there was another one, I think it was Hydra, that sent me some stuff that we were use. It was like an entire book full of just random stuff that we ever thought about for D&D. There was crimes, there was rewards, there was unusual quests.
It's been cool. It's been cool expanding our network and getting to connect with other people who are as nerdy about D&D as us.
Yeah! Initiative.
Oh, yes, we love Roll for Initiative dice.
Roll for Initiative is a small company out of Michigan that makes their own dice. We actually connected them to Mythical Meats to be able to make dice for Mythical Meats. So that was a lot of fun too.
So shameless plug for all of our partners. They make excellent stuff, especially Mythical Meats.
Yeah, yes. That's about it. So
We might be wrapping up early, but I don't think that's going to throw anybody off. So,
Oh no.
how do we sign up on the podcast?
good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay, this is the LARP channel here on the live podcast stage at PopCon Indy 2025. How are we feeling out there, PopCon? Put your hands in the air. How are we feeling? Yes. Oh, there we go. Life. Earlier